lungs. Dancing by the lakeside, gonna do it while we're young. In a moment it will all be gone.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Yes, I am Disney today. I have my Snow White ears on in preparation for our trip next year. I'm still very excited, but we are doing freezer sandwiches today, and I thought while I'm doing that, which I will show you what I'm doing, because I'm doing something a little bit different with freezer sandwiches today as opposed to what I've done in the past, and I thought I'll just show you as I'm doing them. But while I'm doing that, I thought I would just give you an update on just stuff to do with Disney, our trip and stuff, and what's happening, and some hurdles we've come across and stuff as far as pricing goes and things like that. And yeah, I thought I'd update you anyway. So we'll just have a bit of a chat today. It's a pretty casual video. We're just gonna have a bit of a chat while I do freezer sandwiches. The first thing I'll say is I have some stuff from Costco that I'm working with today, and last week was Costco week here in the house, on the channel here. So if you want to see 3 Costco videos, have a look at last week. There is also a Costco, what is it? I think it says All Things Costco playlist. It's linked below. You can have a look at that, and it should be on there. So I did go to Costco. Video 1 was me going to Costco. Well, not me going to Costco. Video 1 was actually my big 4 to 6 week shop, and it included Costco this time. So I'm going to show you what I got from Costco, and talk about that a little bit more. Plus it's got Aldi, Woolworths and Coles in it. The next video was a little, oh no, actually, I think the next video might have actually been is Costco worth it? And me just showing you some things in there and why I go to Costco, and just some food for thought for anyone that wants to, that's intrigued about it, that don't know about Costco. And also for people that go now, maybe there's some ideas in that for you as well, so you can just get a bit of a feel for it. And then the third video was another Costco shop with me. I just went in there, recorded prices, and tried to find, I didn't try to find, but just showed you guys some things that were a little bit different to normal than I've normally done, and updated some prices on some things and all of that. So it was full on Costco last week because I went to do my shopping, and I thought, while I'm here, I just want to do all this for you guys as well, because I know you guys love Costco. So yeah, so I did go to Costco and I got quite a few things, including some bread things. I do want to show you. I'm going to show you this. I'm pulling this apart and doing like putting these in the freezer for Joseph for school. These are new in Costco. It's like, you know, cheesy mites you get from Baker's Delight. I know the supermarkets do a version of it now. Lots of bakeries do it too. Baker's Delight is our favorite, but these were really good. Made fresh there, and it was $14.99 for 8. So that's amazing, guys. That is less than $2 each cheese mite, and they're big, they're not small. Joseph was so excited about this and ecstatic when he saw them. He's like, can I have one, before he even got in the house? Like, he was just so excited. So I wanted to show you guys this because this is obviously an easy thing for me to do. Isabella won't eat these. She does not really like, she loves cheese, but she doesn't like Vegemite. Who doesn't like Vegemite, guys? I don't know, but apparently my child doesn't. So those are for Joseph mainly. If I can get them again next time I go, I'm going to get them because I like them too. So I just got one to try and see what they taste like, because they might not have tasted as good as the Baker's Delight ones. So yeah, for Isabella and for myself, Johnny too, if he's here and stuff off work and things. But I did go and get bagels. Isabella loves bagels. So instead of doing the normal freezer sandwiches for school lunches, which normally entails just my loaf of bread, let me get it, which is the sun-blessed bread. I would love to have Baker's Delight bread back again, guys, in the house, but it's just so expensive. So unless I can get a deal on that or something, maybe I won't do it. But it'd be nice to go back to Baker's Delight for a little bit. But otherwise, I do my sandwiches on that bread. It's great for freezing. It's very affordable. It still is very fresh and stuff, so I really like it. Normally do that, getting a bit sick of those for like school lunches and work and stuff like that. So we're doing the cheesy mites, we're doing bagels. These are the blueberry ones. Well, just dropped some, the blueberry ones. So you get 2 packets for $12.99, which is what, $6.50 a packet. However, which is more than the normal supermarket. However, they're bigger, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get 6 in here as well. Plus they're bigger than the normal ones, so they're very good. To be honest, Isabella, a half of one is enough for her for breakfast. So a whole one is too much, half of one's great for breakfast, but if she's taking it to school, I've discovered she will eat a whole one. So I'm gonna do that for her. She's not a big fan of the blueberry, but I'm gonna prep these for the freezer for me, because I want to have these for breakfast sometimes, but I'm not going to eat them all in one go. And if I prep them, then it's just a bit easier to pull them apart and put them in the toaster of a morning if they're frozen, because these will be out of date in a couple of days. Like, they'll start going moldy. So we don't want that. But we also, I did get the plain ones as well, 2 packets, which the other one just fell down there, but 2 packets, which is aimed for Isabella. Joseph doesn't eat these, so he likes the cheesy mites, Isabella likes the bagels. I'm gonna put nothing too exciting on these. She's big into Nutella at the moment, which is fine by me. It's just something different. Otherwise, she usually always has jam on stuff. Cheese she'll do. Peanut butter she likes on sandwiches and stuff too, but she can't have peanut butter at school. I know Nutella's hazelnut, but they just say peanuts, so I think she can have the hazelnut. So we'll just do that until they tell us otherwise. There's actually no one in her class with a nut allergy. Someone with a milk allergy, but no one with a nut allergy. So I'm sure the teacher will say if it's not okay, and I'll know. But in the meantime, we'll do this because right now it's something she'll eat, which is a bonus. And then I have, just for something different, was this massive pack of, how many's in here? Okay, 12 Turkish rolls in here. Now these, my kids love sourdough bread. Like, they absolutely, oh my gosh, love it. They would eat that every second of the day if they could. It's just so expensive. But this is kind of similar, so I think they'd probably like this as well. I like this for toasting stuff, so I'm going to make some up for myself to do toasting. However, I could eat a whole one, but I probably will just do it in halves for me and also for the kids, because I think that's enough, because we usually have like something else with it and stuff. And even me for lunch, I will have some of, you know, say half of this, I can have half of that, and then maybe have some nuts and fruit and stuff, or yogurt, you know, stuff like that. So I'm going to make this stretch out as far as I can. For me, I might toast mine most of the time if I'm home, like just put it on the pan and just toast each side up. Otherwise, the kids will probably just, if they're home, I can do that, like if it's a toasted cheese one or something. But otherwise, I'm just going to pop it into their lunchbox as something different. So I think they'll really like that. So 12, I should be able to get 24 out of this, which is going to be super. Ingredients wise, I have done some eggs because someone asked on my last freezer sandwich video if I could, like, if you could freeze curried eggs. What I'm going to do today is do, like, mix some egg with mayonnaise. This is for me, the kids won't eat it. But egg with mayonnaise, salt and pepper. I could put curry powder in it maybe, but I don't think I will. I think I'll just keep it just to that. And I'm going to, oh, do I have lettuce? I don't have lettuce. And I can't freeze lettuce anyway, but we'll just do the egg. We're going to put it in and we're going to see if we can freeze it and what it's like. And then I'll show you later in this video, once I defrost and stuff one day, how it tasted and if it was really good. Okay, so this is a bit of a trial and error, bit of a feedback for the person that actually asked about this, because I thought, well, that's a great idea, something different. For me, I'm going to do some tomatoes. So I got Roma tomatoes and I've got some ham off the bone. Now this ham, Isabella is not really a meat eater, guys, but Joseph likes ham. So I got enough to do some for me with, so ham, cheese, tomato. Here's our cheese here we're using. And then Joseph will have, he likes ham and cheese together, but he doesn't like that as a toasty. So I'll do some of these, maybe just plain cheese as well. We'll see. And then we can toast them as well and it might be all right. I don't know, maybe he would, actually, maybe he would like these with ham and cheese. We'll have to test him. Maybe we'll do that. So maybe I'll make them up and see. But yeah, there's plenty of ham there. This is the Nutella that we'll do for Isabella on her bagels. And then if I do some jam, this is the jam that she absolutely loves, this raspberry jam. So this is not very expensive. It's like, it's less than $3, I think, for a jar. And she loves it. She absolutely loves it. I like jam. It can be a bit sweet for me, so I don't put a lot on. Joseph, he's not a fan of jam, so he doesn't have it. But Johnny will also have it. But mostly Isabella will just go through this whole jar. And everything's just going to go into some sandwich bags because I don't do cling wrap now. Cling wrap took a lot longer, so I'm trying to save a bit of time in the kitchen in that way. But also, I've just made this work. Also, with these, I will point out that if I'm taking it in the car for work, if I'm doing Uber stuff, I'm out of the house, this is easier, obviously, for me. It's easy for Johnny to take as well. Joseph doesn't have a lunchbox that had like a bento style one anymore because he's in high school and they don't sit down and have lunch. Like, they were out in the basketball court and doing stuff. So he likes a bag, so that just helps there. And then Isabella, I have been doing her lunchbox a little bit differently. So I've just been putting that in there as well, just to save a bit of time and to also save up on doubling up. So if I was wrapping stuff in cling wrap, then I would maybe take it out and put it in one of these, for example, for Joseph, because the cling wrap was just a bit fumbly at school. I was worried he's going to drop his sandwich. Or he just, yeah, he wouldn't eat it because he'd be like, oh, I don't want to deal with the cling wrap and all that kind of stuff. So I would put it in this. So we're going with this at the moment. So I might just pull apart these first, which, let's see what use by they've got on it. Oh, they say use by today or tomorrow? Tomorrow. So they've put 3 days, not a use by, but a best before date. So look, if I'd had these out, they would be gone already because Joseph probably would have eaten them. I did buy them on the 5th, so today's the 7th. So he's, oh, they're a little bit stuck in here. Oh no, they're not too bad. Yeah, he would have eaten them. I actually put all this bread away in my office so no one could see it, so they wouldn't touch it, so I could do this. Otherwise I wouldn't have the stuff. But yeah, see, they're all just in one lot like this. So they're very easy to pull apart though. And this is just the way they would make them at Baker's Delight and stuff too, because Johnny used to be a baker there, and they would just do them and just pull them apart, and or sell them in the little 6-packs and 4-packs and stuff like that. So, oh, this one's a bit hard to pull apart there. Some of them are getting a bit stuck together where they're not being as even, but Joseph won't care. He doesn't need to look pretty, he just wants to eat it. So it's not too bad. Like, that one's a bit off compared to that one obviously, but it's not bad. All right, let's catch you up on some Disney stuff. So we are going next year. We are planning on going, well, we have accommodation booked around the end of August, start of September. We were going to go in May and we were going with friends. They've decided not to go because they had another cruise and stuff on, so fair enough for them. Like, they didn't want to spend the extra money and stuff. But then also I realized this year, because Joseph's in year 9, so I didn't really realize this. I was thinking about exams at the end of the year, because I would have loved to have been there over sort of your November period for like Christmas and stuff there. Like, oh, that would be a dream. However, I knew about exams, so when I was talking to the school about it, they were giving me dates and everything that was going on and stuff, so I just like, okay, got to avoid that. So I picked May because a certain time in May was actually very affordable. And I thought, oh, the weather, I know it'll be getting hot and stuff, but I thought maybe it'd be all right. Rachel had been in May and she said it was hot, but it was more of a, wasn't as humid, you know, so she thought that would be better too. But then we found out in year 9 he had exams in May. It turns out all of them have exams in May and at the end of the year, which I don't know why I didn't realize that, but I didn't realize it. So we would have had to have changed anyway. So we've shifted it to August, September, and we do have some other friends going as well, which I'm very excited about, but I'll talk about that on another video. So we're going then. The plan is to go for about 3 weeks. Now, currently in America, you can't go for more than 30 days, I don't think, on a tourist visa. Is it that one? Yeah, I think it's the tourist visa. I think that's what they call it. But you can't be in the country for more than 30 days. So we're just got to be careful with what we do, and it's not just Disney World, it's obviously the traveling either side as well. So I've just got to make sure everything runs smooth. We were going to go for 2 weeks in May, and I was like trying to plan it out, and I'm like, I feel like even at 2 weeks we might be rush and not get a lot of downtime to kind of rest, which I think with the parks and stuff, and we're going to need days, especially with the kids and even ourselves. Like, we don't want to get run down and end up getting sick or something, you know. So I think 3 weeks is a really good happy medium, honestly, to have some breaks and stuff like that as well, and, you know, just do some other things. We are planning on pretty much staying at Disney World at this stage. I would love to go. Johnny desperately wants to go to Universal. I'd love to go to Universal too, especially because they've opened up Epic Universe as well. However, the cost, we're trying to work on it, okay? Because the cost for the 4 of us to go to Universal Studios, because there's Universal Studios, Island of Adventure, Volcano Bay, which is the water park, and then Epic Universe they've just opened, which is huge as well. You kind of need at least, I think, 2 days at that one. And then Rachel said I'd probably need 2 days at Island of Adventure, I think she said as well. And then you've got the others as well. So, and you don't want to be going every day. Like, you want to have a day or so break in between if you can, perhaps, or every couple of days. So we kind of need at least probably 5 nights there as well. So we could cut down the Disney just slightly and try to fit that in. Would love to work on that. However, the cost of us to get the tickets for all of that, plus accommodation, plus food and everything, is probably going to cost us another $4,000 to $5,000, because just the tickets themselves are around I think it was like 3,600 Australian dollars. Once converted, because it's just the parks over there, like the theme parks are so different to the ones here in Australia. Like the ones here in Australia you can do in like 2 hours. Over there it's not like that. They're huge, there's so much going on, there's huge shows and just so much more to see. So they take longer, they charge a lot more for that reason. Disney as well. Disney's about the same pricing, honestly. I think actually my Disney tickets, because how many is there? There's 2 water parks, but usually they only have 1 open up at a time depending on the season. Then there's Animal Kingdom, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, which has got the castle in it, and Hollywood Studios. So what's that? 6 parks for them as well. So obviously you don't want to go every single day with these really long days there and just busy, and you want to be able to see some, like, probably won't see everything. We'll probably miss things, honestly. How can you see it? We know people, Johnny's got people at his work that have been, and they, like 1 year, and then they went again this year, you know, because they wanted to go back. They loved it so much, but they didn't quite get to see everything, so they wanted to go back again. So I imagine it's going to be like that for us, that we'll, you know, we won't see everything, obviously. But yeah, so the tickets just for Disney World are around 4,000 Australian dollars as well, once converted. But they are for tickets that are what they call, they're park hopper tickets, so you can go to different parks each day. I'm just going to cut these open while I'm talking. So you can go between the different parks. So you could go to Magic Kingdom in the morning and then go home, like go back to the hotel for a rest in the afternoon, for a cool down, a swim because it's so hot over there. And then maybe go to Epcot that night or something for dinner and go see that park as well, go on rides and stuff there and things at night. So you can split your days up and you can park hop. So there's park hopping in it. There's actually memory makers included in the tickets we're getting, which I'll tell you where we're getting the tickets from. But memory maker is included in that, which is like when you're going around, obviously if there's photos taken on the rides, that's included. You get those for I think 30 days, I think is the download time. Plus they also have photographers in the actual theme parks as well that will take your photos at different spots and stuff. They'll do like magic photos. I think they're included, where they could be, I could be standing like this and holding an apple from Snow White or something, I don't know, or Tinkerbell on my hand or something like that. So all that kind of stuff is included. And then it's also unlimited entry to all of the parks, park hopping, like I said, for 14 days over an 18-day period. So you can just go whenever, like there's no time restriction and stuff, which is really good. Now, all that's included, and that is through Attraction Tickets UK, and it's on the UK site, not the Australian site. The Australian site, you can buy the tickets, but you can't book the accommodation on the Australian site. And with the Australian site, you have to pay for it all up front straight away. Whereas the UK site, you pay a deposit and then you can just pay it off. You just got to convert the dollars, that's the only thing. And the British pound is not great. But it still works out cheaper than actually us booking tickets through Disney themselves. Because Disney themselves, it could, oh, and also we get a meal thing included, which I'll talk about in a second. But Disney themselves only do up to 10 days. I think you've got 14 days to use them, but they do up to 10 days. Memory Maker's extra, Park Hopper's extra. I think if I added Park Hopper, I think that's an extra for the 4 of us, 300 and something US dollars. So it's a lot more in Australian dollars. And then Memory Maker on top, Memory Maker on top of that is another nearly 200, I think it was, US dollars roughly. So it's expensive. And then with the UK site, they have a deal. They've had a deal for the last couple of years now, and they have brought it out here and we've got it. This is on the UK site, not the Australian site. Just remember that. You just got to make sure at the top of the website you change it to Great British Pound, so it goes to the UK site. They have the free dining plan, which is amazing. So depending on which hotel you actually stay at, there's 3 levels. There's value, moderate, and what's the next one called? Deluxe, maybe, I think. Obviously different price points for all of them. Very, very significantly different. Like there's a deluxe resort I'd love to stay in just for one night, and it's nearly 1,000 Australian dollars for the night. So probably not going to do that one unless I come into some great money for that one. But we are staying in the value resort. So with the value resorts, you get one quick service meal, which when you say quick service meal, it can be, it's not just burgers and chips. Like there's so many different food and restaurants and everything around Disney World that you've got lots of options. You can do healthier options and all that as well. So you get a meal, you get a drink with that, and that can be an alcoholic drink if they sell alcoholic drinks at wherever you're going for that, which is great. Someone's calling me. Oh, it's my dad. It's this Poppy at home. He's trying to call me. And yeah, so that's included in the value resort. So we've taken that one, we've gone the value resort option because we want to have flexibility with the other meals basically. So some days we'll have that as our main meal, obviously because it's got the alcoholic drink if we want that, like, you know, they have like frozen drinks and cocktails and stuff, and there's no limit on the value either. So I could order a $30 glass of wine if I wanted to. And I could go a $12 food selection, or I could go a $25 food selection. So it's really, really good value. But I wanted the flexibility to then create my own Disney World meal plan, which I'm going to talk about at a later date. Because we do want to do some of the table service restaurants, which are the fun restaurants. They're the ones with the character dinings. They're the ones that are just, you know, sit down themes, or not themes too. You can have non-themes depending on what you're doing, but such a variety. Like there's so many restaurants in Disney World, it's insane. But there's so many things that we do want to do and see. I am trying to cut down my list so we're not doing it every single night, because it can be very expensive. So I'm just trying to work that out, and I have figured out how to add on the tax and the gratuities and stuff, like the tips that you got to do as well. It's in America, you've got to do the tips, like it's a minimum like 18% or something that you got to do for tips, and it's before the tax, but then the tax is added on afterwards. And so I know how to work that out. I can talk about that in another video too to help people, but I've been calculating how much it's going to cost. So we'll be doing some of those, and then on some other days we'll just have cheap casual meals. Like honestly, a lot of adults will eat the kids meals too because they're all right portions. It's warm over there, so you don't want to eat a lot. So that will help save money for me too, because I probably won't need a huge meal every single day. Do you know what I mean, for things? So that'll be good. And Isabella is classed as an adult, so from ages 10 upwards, for like dining plans and meals and stuff like that, like the buffets and things, she's classed as an adult. So, and she's not going to eat as much as what Johnny would or anything. So we really wasn't worth us to actually go to a higher level of the dining plan, so we didn't do that. If you're at a moderate resort, you actually get 2 quick service meals with the alcoholic drinks, or non-alcoholic if you're under 21, because you have to be 21 to have alcohol over there. And you also get snack credits. Is it 1 or 2 a day? I think it's just 1 snack credit a day, which you can use those for things for breakfast if you want. So you could get away with prepaying all your meals and not having, you know, any extra to pay for. But they can go for a variety of things. And then they also include the resort mug, which is about $25, that's including tax in the US. But they're refillable at all the resorts. So not the theme parks, but at the resorts. And you probably go to a lot of different resorts on your way around Disney World, so you can refill them and do that. So it's worth it. That's worth it. That we will be buying separately, but it's all included in the moderate resort, so that was good. And then the deluxe, it's just 1 quick service meal with the alcoholic drink, 1 table service dining credit, which is amazing. Like if you were going to go every single day, if we were going for 10 nights like we were previously, then we would have done that probably. It's, you know, tried to work it out, because it would have been worked out better to do that, because the cost of character dining is quite expensive. So it just would have worked out, yeah, a lot better to do it that way. However, we're going to break it up so we don't have so much pressure to be here, there and everywhere every day. And because we're going for nearly 3 weeks, it just would have been way too expensive. So we're not doing that, but it is great value. Like if you were going for like, I don't know, 3 nights, you would include the dining plan and pay for it if you needed, because it just works out so much better if you're doing character dining. Like in Australian dollars, if you're paying for character dining, you from what I've worked out in the places we want to go, it's anywhere with tax and drinks and all of that, it's anywhere between 300 to 500 Australian dollars, like depending on what type of dining you're doing and stuff. So yeah, so in the end, we are doing the value resort because it works out financially better for us because there's 4 of us and just the ages and everything. But I will be creating my own Disney dining plan, and I'll be using gift cards and doing it like that so I can stick to a budget and that. So we will talk about that at a later date. So we're planning on staying at one of the value resorts. I'm not really going to say right now, just for privacy, and plus also we might change our mind and swap to a different one. Oh, I keep doing that, guys. I keep changing my mind and swapping and changing, which is very easy to do. You can do that without any penalties, but I'm like, no, stop it. But yeah, I'm very excited about that. There's transportation all through Disney World, which is you've got buses, the Disney buses. So Disney World's kind of like, when I was trying to explain this to someone, they asked me about it and they were like, but what is it? Like, how big is it? What is it? And I'm like, okay, there's like 6 theme parks spread over, like, it's like the size of, I think Disney World's the size of San Francisco or San Diego, one of the two. So it's like its own town, basically. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Is the way I describe it. I haven't been there, but that's the way I see it when I talk to people like Rachel that have been there and stuff. So they have free transportation. Disney provide free transportation. They provide it. So that can be buses. There's buses which are air conditioned. You can charge your phone and stuff on them. They're really good. They go to all the resorts as long as you're staying on site. Well, actually, no. You don't have to stay on site to use the transportation. Even if you were staying off site and then you went into the bubble, the Disney bubble, you can catch all these as well. But you just can't, oh no, you can. What am I saying? Yes, you can. There's just no rules against that at all. But if you're in the Disney bubble, it's quite easy to, obviously you don't have to hire a car if you don't want to. You can just catch the buses. There's a monorail. There's a Skyliner, which is like gondolas, but looks to me runs much more smoother, and they're a lot bigger than what we have here in Australia from what I've seen. What am I missing out on? Buses, monorail, Skyliner. Is that it? I think that's it. But that's, you get around everywhere on that. So it's great. I'm actually looking forward to doing that just as something. Like, I want to ride the monorail. I think the kids would absolutely love it. The Skyliner I'm excited about. I don't know if the kids might get scared of being on the Skyliner. I'm hoping not, but we're going to give that a go, hopefully. I am just buttering some of these up, so just so you know what I'm doing. So I really did want to stay at Pop Century. It's one of the value resorts. It's a little bit more expensive than the other 3 that are cheaper, that are all together, which are the all-star ones. Just got to cut the cheese open because I realized I didn't open it. Yeah, really want to stay at Pop Century. However, they've got bus transportation from that resort, but to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, it's the Skyliner. There is no bus stop transportation. So if I couldn't get Isabella on the Skyliner, then we'd be stuck. We'd have to like pay for an Uber or something, or I don't know what we'd do. We'd have to do that. I don't see any other option. So I didn't want to take the risk, honestly, because I just didn't want the hassle and trouble. So we will still go on the Skyliner, but we'll actually do it a little bit differently to what we were going to do. So if we try to do it and then Isabella freaks out and won't do it, then that's fine. We just can, you know, think of another option. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's good. But I'm looking forward to doing that. What else have I got planned? I'm really excited about the restaurants, honestly. I'm so excited because it's a whole experience, which is why it's so expensive. Even the ones that don't have characters, you know, it's an experience. I'm trying to find a knife. Maybe this one? It's an experience in itself. So I am just looking forward to, you know, doing that, like trying some new foods and fun stuff. I watch these videos all the time on YouTube because there are literally, like, my job on YouTube, you know, I talk about saving money, time and money in the kitchen at the moment, like, but it's always got to do with parenting and, you know, stuff like that, obviously, over the years. but there are actually Disney vloggers. Like, that's their job. They just go to Disney World or Disneyland or any of the Disney parks in the world. Japan, like wherever, China, everywhere. That's their job. Like, they just film that, but they give information, and that's where I've got a lot of advice from, is watching people like that, watching people like Rachel and Troy, gonna eat this, people that have been there before and actually vlog their experience, which is awesome. I will be filming while I'm over there, but I'm not like them where I'm actually teaching anything. I'm literally just going to film it for our memories, so we'll have that to, yeah, look back on and stuff. I'm just so excited. Character meals, I am planning on doing at least a couple of those, I think, which are the more expensive, but in my eyes, you're paying to meet the characters, basically. You know, a lot of them are buffets, so that's great. The kids will eat, you know, there's variety for everyone, which is what I like about buffets. But the you're paying for the experience of meeting characters, which in turn, in my eyes, you don't want to be wasting time in the park standing in line for 1 to 2 hours waiting to meet a character. I figure it's better to do it this way and get some food out of it. And, oh, did I cut that wrong? Yeah, to get food out of it, but you can meet the characters, you can have photos with them, you don't have to stand in the heat and in a long line and stuff. So we'll definitely be doing that. So I'm being strategic with what ones I'm actually booking. I really, really want to do the castle. I want to meet Snow White, but she's not always in the castle. At Cinderella's Royal Table, it's called. So I don't know, we might miss out on her, I don't know, which would be such a bummer for me. But Isabella would be ecstatic because it's Cinderella's castle, so you actually can meet Cinderella downstairs and have a photo and stuff with her first. And then when you go up into the restaurant, then about 5 princes, I think including her actually, come out and go around to all the tables and talk and interact, and you can have photos with them and stuff like that. So I'm excited for Isabella to experience that. Johnny, I'm sure, will enjoy it too. Joseph will probably be like, oh yeah. You know? But I just think, yeah, it'll be fun. I know Joseph will love meeting like Mickey and stuff like that, because he's always loves like when we meet characters in theme parks, like here in Australia. So I'm sure he'll really like that. So yeah, Cinderella's Royal Table is one of those ones actually that you have to book out in, like, you have to pay, sorry, you have to book them all out in advance, guys. So the window for, oh, this is the perk of actually staying on site, actually staying in the Disney World bubble at like one of their hotels, is 60 days out to your first night's booking. It opens up the dining bookings to, I think, all the days of your trip. So if you're staying for 2 weeks, you can book the full 2 weeks in a row. Otherwise, if you're just the public, I think you can book out 60 days out, but you can only book 1 day at a time. So you can miss out, I guess, and stuff if you're off site. So I'm looking really forward to being able to book things and just have it set and ready to go. I know what I'm doing when I get over there. Because if I can't get into a certain restaurant, because it's already booked out, which could happen, like Cinderella's Royal Table is hard to get into for sure. But yeah, if I can't get it, well then can have a plan, a backup plan to do something else, you know what I mean? And there's a couple, like Cinderella's Royal Table is one of them, where you actually went at the time of doing your reservation, you actually pay it up front, because it's a one cost per person type thing there. So that will be done and I won't have to worry about that. So I really do want to go there. Hopefully we can get that done. I feel good about prepaying that as well. Like, I just feel like it's just one of those things. I would love to have the full dining plan, honestly, for it, but the cost to add it and stuff was just too high. Like, I can do things a lot cheaper, and because we're not going to go to 18 different table services or 20 or whatever however many nights we end up going for, every single night, like, we will have breaks and do other things, so, and just do a quick service, so it's just not worth it for us. But yeah, I'm excited about that. All right, so I've started doing these. So these have got ham and cheese in them. I did butter the inside because if they're having them at school, well, they'll want that in there. If we're toasting them at home, when we get them out of the freezer and stuff, I'll just put butter on each side and we just, you know, toast them like that. So that's really good. But they're quite big. It's almost like having a roll, really. So that's why I'm thinking the 12 rolls, so I can stretch out to 24 different sandwiches. I have done some plain cheese ones as well. Again, they can just eat them at school or they can have them toasted. So yeah. So I've done ham and cheese. I might do some for me, which will have ham, cheese, and tomato. Oh, I was gonna do chicken. I have chicken as well, so I might make up a cheese, chicken, and tomato, maybe for me as well, because I think that would be nice. I've got some mayo, maybe I'll put that on there so when it's toasting it'll be really good. Doing my ham, cheese, and tomato, which will be for me. I'm the only one that will eat that. Like, my kids love tomato, but to have it in something like this, they won't eat it. I've cut up just 2 of the Roma tomatoes. I want to show you this because people always say to me, won't it go soggy in the freezer and stuff? Like, I don't usually have too much of a problem if you're toasting it. It's completely fine. I find the Roma tomatoes, though, because they hold themselves together a lot, even if I pulled this out and decide I wanted to have it as a sandwich, it works really well as well. I think the other tomatoes, like the field tomatoes and stuff, they can get really sloppy, but these tend to be all right. Otherwise, if I'm doing sandwiches, just normal sandwiches and not these bigger ones, I will sometimes use the little cherry tomatoes and stuff and cut them in half and just put half each on each section, and that works really well as well. It just gives me a bit of a tomato taste, but it's less messy. Do you know what I mean? But it is more expensive doing it that way. So what I'm going to do, I've put the cheese down first, and then I'm putting down tomato next. I want to try to separate these because I am going to cut it in the middle. Actually, I wonder if I can cut that. Oh no, I'll wait. And I'll put salt and pepper on them as well, of course. And then I'll put the ham on top. So with tomato, because you don't want it to really fall out and stuff, I like to put things on top of it, and that usually helps really well. You could probably even put it under the cheese, but this just holds it together a little bit better, I feel, when it melts, and that's why I do it this way. I'm just going to put some salt and pepper. And then some ham. Oh my gosh, this ham, I'm doing everything I can not to eat it right now because it looks really good. I got it on sale, this one, and it's just, I like paying extra for ham. I do still like the little packs, like the cheap packs every now and then, but if I've got room in the budget or I'm doing something like this, I love having the higher quality ham because it just tastes so much nicer, doesn't it? I really like it. I don't want too much ham, I just want that flavour in there. So I'm not going to go too overboard. You could also do, like I said, you could do chicken on here. Chicken freezes really well, like chicken breast, roast chicken breast. Salami, that's another one. Joseph likes salami, so sometimes I'll do that. So then I'm just going to move this out of the way. Push that down a bit and then cut it in half because I just want to do half. Hopefully I went between the tomatoes, and I did. That's really good. All right, I'm also going to show you guys, if you watched the last freezer video where I showed you how to put the sandwich into the Ziploc bag and actually freeze it, like you need to get all the air out. So I gave you a few tips on how to do that. With that, I'm going to show you how I'm doing these ones because I have to do something similar so you don't get too much air around them so they don't get too much freezer burn. So you want to avoid that. And then, of course, I'm going to be putting these bags, like these bags that I've already done, into a sealed container and then into my freezer because I've got a big chest freezer. So it just, if you have it in a sealed container like that with the freezer sandwiches, if they're in these, I just find it helps it not get freezer burn as well. So you just want to put the flat edge up against one side, just like you do with the other ones, and then I can sort of fold that side over. You can see that side I just folded over around the roundness. It's a bit easier to do with these because you can be a bit tougher with them. I think with the freezer sandwiches I showed you putting the flat edge on the other side, but that's because you can't like forcefully go against the sandwich too much or you're going to squash the sandwich, but these are really tough. So it's there. It's kind of like a bit of a vacuum seal, so it just helps it. And then I'm just going to write on here what is actually in this one, if I can find my texter. Do ham, cheese, and tomato. So I know what it is. Otherwise, someone like Johnny that doesn't like tomato like this would get a rude awakening. But yeah, they're very easy, very simple. I'm just gonna finish these ones off and then I'll move on to the bagels. All right, bagels, we're on to bagels. I am, with the blueberry ones, I'm literally just gonna cut them in half and then I'm actually gonna put them into a sandwich bag. I used to like put them into this, but this one's got a hole in it. Plus, if it's in the sandwich bag, like this, when I cook it, I put some margarine or butter or whatever you want on it, and then I put it back in this and take it with me in the car. So it forms as a little dish for me. It means I'm not creating more dishes. I used to do it in containers and stuff, put in the car, then I gotta bring them home and wash them. Sometimes I just throw them in the back seat and then they pile up through the week and then that's more mess. So this is just a bit easier. So I'm gonna use that. But I'm just gonna quickly, yeah, cut them in half so they're ready to go. Because obviously if I put this in the freezer like that, that's fine if I'm actually gonna pull out the whole packet and let it defrost and eat them quickly. Do you know what I mean? But I know I won't eat this every single day because most days I'll have eggs. So I'm thinking, well, what I used to do was I'd cut them open, like cut them in half, and then I'd put them back into this bag and then we just pull out one at a time to cook and stuff for at home. Obviously, using the bag like this, it's easier for me to take it in the car, so I'm gonna do that. Like I said, I'm the only one that will really eat this. Johnny probably would too, but he's big on doing eggs and stuff of recent, and this is just more of a convenience thing for me, doing these. You can see them like that. Bit more of a convenience thing for me for if I just want to get out in the morning and start work straight after school drop off. That's really why I do it. So yeah, plus if I want a nice snack later, I can just pull it out for myself as well, but mostly it'll be for those times in the morning for me. What else can I say about Disney? Oh, okay, so the thing that's throwing the spanner in the works is the cost of the flying. As you probably know if you've been watching me for a long time, if you watch people like Rachel and stuff as well, they talk about this, but the whole plan, if we'd gone this year or last year, this would have worked. The whole plan was going to be fly to Hawaii on Jetstar. Oh, my battery's gonna go flat. Hang on. All right, I think you're good. What was I saying? So so the plan was to fly to Hawaii, spend the night or two if you wanted to spend 2 nights, fly on Jetstar to Hawaii because you could get really great deals. You could get each way on sale for $300. Do you know what I mean? I have gone to Hawaii twice and both times I actually got a fly one way, get a return for free because I did around the birthday sale. So that was awesome when I did that. Like, it was really cheap. So that was the plan. However, Jetstar for that portion of the trip have decided to stop flying to Hawaii as of it's October, at the end of October this year, have stopped. So there's no Jetstar flights. So then you've got to use other airlines, Qantas included, like their normal Qantas flights, which I don't know if it's actually Qantas or whether it's American Airlines. They own American Airlines. I think it's American Airlines. Yeah, I think it's them. I don't think it's Delta. No, I think it's American Airlines. So they will fly, yeah, there still, but it'll be way more expensive. Now, I've priced it up. And right now, what's coming up for prices with flying with Jetstar, I mean, not Jetstar, Qantas, or like any other any other airline as such, it's gonna be around $500 to $600 each way. That's what it is. So it's increased quite significantly when you've got 4 people to pay for. So that's super annoying. So then we thought, okay, maybe we'll take that into account because what we're gonna do is fly to Hawaii, spend 1 or 2 nights, and then fly from Honolulu to MCO, the airport there, so Orlando. And that part we were doing all on points to do with, you know, the Qantas frequent flyer points. So that was my plan with that. And that would save me $4,000 by using points, like rewards dollars is what I was gonna use. So very much so wanted to do that. So then, now that I'm costing out the cost of the actual flights and then having to do that, I was like, oh, that's like, it's $4,000 to do that. You can't get, you can use your points to go from Australia to America, like to Honolulu, but the cost of that in points was quite high, because then also you got to pay the taxes going over there as well, which is an extra $200 something. So you're still out of pocket, but it would just made more sense with the points to actually use them domestically. So from Honolulu, because it's America, to there, you're only paying $17 in taxes, not $200. You know what I mean? So it makes more sense to use it that way on domestic flights. So that's kind of what's happened. Now, I was also thinking, because I was talking to Rhiannon this morning about this, and she was saying about velocity points with Virgin, which I don't really, the reason I wasn't doing that and taking on that was because they don't fly to Honolulu. Virgin don't fly to Honolulu. Can you believe it? You can't book any sort of flights between Australia and Honolulu on Virgin using points. But you could fly from, I think, yeah, you could fly from Australia to LAX, which is LA. You could do that. So I've been looking at the amount of points I would need, because then I would be just working up Flybuys points as well, which could be somewhat easy. It's the same deal though. If you get 2,000 Flybuys points, when they get converted, it's the same as Qantas, where it halves, so it's worth 1,000 velocity points. But I have been looking at the costings in points on doing that and just skipping Hawaii altogether, which Isabella would be so upset about, because she really wants to go there and see it, and I really wanted to show her Hawaii. But at this point now, I'm looking at it and thinking it might be better off to fly to LA, either using the reward like Qantas points or velocity points, and then paying for maybe the way back, because that would make sense, like as far as dollars go and all the taxes and stuff. And in fact, if you fly from LA back to Australia, you only have to pay, I think it was $86 in tax, which was crazy. Like, that's how much it was on the velocity points one. I'd have to look at the, oh no, was it the velocity or the Qantas? I can't remember which one it was, but it was kind of cheap points to do that. So it made sense. Actually, I think it was rewards points. But if leaving Australia, going to America, you're paying over like 200 or something. I don't know why. Anyway, and then I thought, okay, then maybe we can use points from LA to Orlando, over in Florida. Then that's not very many points. It's like 20,000 points if you're doing the velocity. Anyway, I'll have to have a look at the price. I think it's about the same actually with the Qantas as well, so that would make sense. So I'm really trying to portion it out and fix it, because as it stands, if we were doing just the flights from here and back to Hawaii, and then trying to use points from there to Florida and stuff, it's still saving 4,000 that end, but this end it's costing, because of baggage and all that on top of it, it's costing near around like 5,200, I think I priced up this morning. So it's way more than I thought. So I think I've worked out a flight path. I'm going to talk to Rachel about this first, and then I'll tell you guys. So I'll make sure it sort of works first. I just need a second person that's very familiar with the point system to sort of look at it and go, yeah, I think you're right. I think this will work, hopefully. But I think we could do the trip for, what was it, about 3,200. I think that's a huge savings, because if you were going to fly all that way to Florida and back for 4 people, it's about $8,000. So if I can get it down to that, like, that would be incredible. And then it's just about me trying to work up the points and stuff and redo that. And I did spend my points on flights and that on our last lots of trips and stuff we've done. So I spent them thinking, oh, it'll be fine. We've got the Hawaii flights sorted because they'll be cheap and I can work up the points and stuff, not realizing what would actually happen. So that's been a bit of a bummer. It's put a bit of a spanner in the works, I'll say. So yeah, I have to work that part out still, but hopefully we can figure out something, because it's really the most expensive part. Well, it's not the most expensive part, but it's a very, very expensive part if you can't figure out a different way of doing it, because yeah, they've just gone up by so much and doing it that way. I just don't know. And I don't know why Qantas have also increased. It used to be the cost would be between Honolulu and Florida in points. It used to be, I think it was 25,600 points each way, so it was pretty good. They've now increased it to around 29,000 something, so they've increased it by a couple of thousand, but spread over 4 people, that's quite significant. I need like an extra 20,000 points to do there and back sort of thing, so they've gone and increased that. So I don't know why they've done it. Perhaps it's just the cost of everything for them too, like oils and fuels and stuff like that. So maybe that's why they've had to do it. But we'll just, yeah, wait and sort of see on that. I think we've got a plan though. So I will share that once we get it done. All right, I'm taking a seat because I'm very tired from standing for so long. It's been a long time. I'm moving on to Isabella's Bagels now, I'm calling them. I don't know whether I might just do, so there's, how many did I say, 6 in this, so I'm thinking I might do 6 for her, for school or whatever, and then the other one I'm going to do the same as what I did with the blueberry and just cut them in half so they're ready to go on the toaster for breakfast in the mornings. She will only eat half a bagel in the morning though, so they'll last a bit longer. Plus, if anyone else wants a bagel, like I said, Joseph doesn't like them, he just prefers normal toast. Johnny will eat them. And I'll eat them too every now and then as well, but mostly it'll be for Isabella, so they'll last actually quite a long time. I'm just gonna try to, these ones are a bit tough to cut through today. I don't know what else to update you guys on. I guess the cost is the other thing. People always ask me about the cost. Look, it's gonna be different for everyone depending on what you're doing. But if you're doing a Disney trip, obviously the tickets are super expensive. You know, just for Disney World, obviously it's around 4,000 Australian dollars. And if you were doing Universal on top of that, you're probably going to whack on another $4,000 roundabout, roughly between 3 and 4 for that one. You could, I guess, maybe pay for a day ticket and just going for a day here and there to places, but you really, if you're going over there, like, you don't want to go all that way for just going to see each park once and that's it. Plus the park ticket themselves for one day, it's pretty expensive, guys. Like, it's more than here in Australia. So I don't know, I still feel like you're better off paying the other one and just having that freedom to do, you know, this and that, because I don't see myself wanting to go over there and go, I'm only going to go to Magic Kingdom and not go to the others. You wouldn't do that over there. Like, it's just, the whole place is part of the experience, and that's what you do it for, because just the whole lot, staying at the hotel on site and then getting around and going to different restaurants and food and like all the shows, there's so many shows and stuff there, you know, you want to see that stuff, you know, so it's, I think the tickets are worth it. Honestly, I know it's a lot of money, but it is definitely, oh, my ears are falling. It's definitely worth the cost for that experience. And from what I've seen, like, I don't think I've met anyone that's like gone over there and not wanted to go back. Even there's been like a few people at Johnny's work, like I said, and they've gone, and then they've gone again. Like, you know, so I think they've gone back the next year, even though because of the cost, it was just such a great time for them and experience and stuff, they wanted to go back. So I'm imagining that's how we'll feel. Whether we go back or not, I don't know, because the finances obviously of it. But yeah, so you're looking at, if you're doing that, what we're doing, you're looking at about, because we've got points for flights as well to help cover, you're looking at about $20,000 really, once you've paid for everything, food, everything else, like it's transport, everything. It's just, it's going to be around that in Australian dollars. If you're going to America for any other reason and maybe not going to the parks, obviously you might be able to cut that down a bit, but I guess if you're over there, you're going to be spending money on things you're going to do over there anyway. So $20,000 I think is a good number for anyone going over, no matter what you're doing over there. And that's kind of just what the cost is, honestly. Like, unless the dollar changes and stuff, it's just, that's what it is. So in US dollars, just to give you a bit of a rough, I would say that's roughly around 12, say 13,000 US dollars, I would say, is going to be around 20,000 Australian dollars, I think. That's just off the top of my head calculating, because it's kind of like 1.5 times, basically. So yeah, about 13,000 US dollars to do like the trip from Australia and do it that way. So, but even if you were in America, my gosh, it's going to cost you, it's going to cost you a lot. I think an annual pass, I did look up the annual pass for Disney World, because I was like, would it be better to buy an annual pass? And so like if it was going to cost a lot anyway, would it be better to buy an annual pass to Disney World for each of us and then go back within 12 months, because we wouldn't have that cost of that ticket again. Like you might, you know, that would be completely cut off, and we'd have that included and paid for, and you know, whatever. It'd just be the flights and accommodation you'd have to worry about. But the cost, I think, of an annual pass, the only one I could find online at the moment, because they used to have different ones, but now, I don't know, since COVID they don't have them. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they don't give them out to many people now, I don't know. But it was about $1,500 US. So in Australian dollars, that's gonna be about $2,200, roughly $2,300. So that's a lot, and that is more than buying the ticket, the 14-day ticket twice. So yeah, but if you're there, obviously people pay that, and because they keep going back, and especially if you're in the area, I suppose, especially if you're a YouTuber, because they film it and so many people want to watch it, you know what I mean, like watch them go and stuff, and just love watching the Disney vlogs, you know. So but I'm sure their YouTube covers more than covers their experience, because so many people watch their videos. Yeah, but so paying for it, did I say this before? No. So the cost and that, how are we paying for it? So I am, as much as possible from my end, like Johnny's wage covers bills, school fees, because obviously we've got to pay, I'm doing Nutella right now on the bagel. Yeah, we've got to pay the kids' school fees because they do go to a private school. One of the more affordable ones where we live, in saying that, but it's still, you know, it's about $10,000 a year for the kids' school, just the school fees. So if you've got uniforms, obviously that's extra. Books are usually, oh no, books are not covered in high school, but primary school, the books and all that kind of stuff are covered, but in high school they're not. But excursions are covered in that, school camps, like the swimming lessons, like all that stuff is covered. So it's pretty good, you know. All the government levies too, like that you have to pay for in public schools now, like there's, which you never had to do when I was at school, but now if you do certain subjects you've got to pay government levies when you're in public schools, which is crazy. Well, around here anyway, because I did look at that. So that's all covered. We don't have to pay any of that. It's covered in our fees. So yeah, Johnny's wage covers most of the bills pretty much. And that, my wage helps cover more of the grocery bill, like the food stuff, and then fun stuff for us, like the holidays and things like that. That's what my wage covers. So I Uber, obviously, do the Ubering, do the YouTube, have the business and all that, and are always trying to, you know, just make money for that reason. For fun stuff. We've got to have a bit of fun in life. Don't want to go through life and not do anything and not have that fun time with our kids too. Like Joseph's, like he's about to turn 15 this year. Who knows how long he'll be at home for and be gone, and that'll be it, you know. We won't be seeing him like we are now or having those experiences. He'll have his own family and be doing his own thing, and or off with his own friends and doing all that. So I want to do as much as possible with both the kids together, because I know that time will come when, you know, which I feel is going to be soon. That time's going to come where we're just going to have Isabella at home, you know, and not Joseph. So I want to savor those moments, basically. All right, short break because I need to go pick up the kids from school, because time's just gone so fast because I was talking to you guys. I just, yeah, have not got everything done. So we still need to do the eggs, so I'm going to come home and do the eggs and show you how I'm doing that and how I'm going to freeze them and stuff. And then you'll definitely see me, I'll put it in the same video, but we'll fast forward a couple of days and we'll see how they actually come out, like if they were okay coming out of the freezer. Alright, back with the eggs. I've cut them up. I only had 6 eggs that I did because I didn't want to do a massive batch in case this doesn't work in the freezer. I'm just going to add in some mayo. I'll probably have to put a bit more, and I need salt and pepper. And we'll just mix it all up. So you could put curry in this if you wanted to now. I do have curry powder, but I don't really want to do it today. I have curry powder on when I do deviled eggs. So it's just like a little sprinkle on top, and that's enough for me. I like that, but this is just for sandwiches. So, oh, I think if I put too much mayo, oh, it's not too bad. I think the more would probably be better because of the freezing situation anyway. So I'm just gonna crush up the yolks a bit. Make it fairly okay. Put a little bit more pepper. I'm just gonna make up 3 and I'm actually gonna eat the rest for myself for a sandwich because I'm hungry. But just put enough in there not to overfill it. I feel like this will work well in the actual sandwiches, or it would work well in a roll, I think. But again, I'm just gonna put these in the Ziploc bags and really try to do it airtight. So when you're doing sandwiches, see how you'll always have that like indent on that side? Put that on the side, okay? Not into the middle, because we're trying, and bread you need to do this. The rolls were a bit different because you can sort of, they can be pushed and prodded and they're a bit more tough, but you're going to push it in. You're going to push it up against that wall as much as possible, and then you're going to push the air out like it's going to vacuum seal it almost on that bit. Let me just, I'm pushing it up against my body because that seems to be the best way to do it. If I fold one side, it's usually best. If you feel like you've got a bit of air, you just fold the side, just open up that a bit more and then do it. It's just, you're just trying to create less air around it for the freezer. So that's not too bad. Oh no, it's got too much air, hang on. Oh, that's better. That's way better. All right. See, so that's good. So I will label this just so people don't take it out thinking it's something that they want to eat. And I will go and freeze this, and then I'll let you know in a second how it was in a couple of days. All right, let's see how this is. It's fully defrosted. Like I always say, defrost your sandwiches in the fridge and then you won't get all that water in it. Whereas if you leave it out on the bench overnight or in like lunch boxes and stuff, it'll be all wet and soggy. So sit it like that when you're going to defrost them in the fridge, so they're on that outer edge, and they'll be perfect like that. All right, let's have a look. Oh, it looks fine. It looks exactly like it did when I made it. So whoever asked me about eggs, this is perfect. That's completely fine. It's only been in the freezer. It was in the freezer overnight, obviously, and then I pulled it out the next night. But look at it. It's great. It'll be completely fine. So definitely you could do eggs like that. All right, I think I'm done. I've had to make some compromises with my containers because I obviously did a lot more than I normally do in this, but so I've just come up with some new ideas, which I'll share. So my normal container that I put the freezer sandwiches in for the week, I'm able to put all the, what do you call them? The Turkish breads, the half. So I've just frozen them in the half. I've got them facing up so I can see what's in them, but of course I've written on the side what's in them as well, so that's fine. So they're all in the sealed container. I feel like they're the ones that need to be in there most importantly. There was a few that, and the egg one, that I didn't have room in there. So I have this smaller airtight container, and I've put just the Vegemite Scrolls in here, and one of the Turkish breads, and then the egg sandwiches. So we're going to freeze those, and obviously in this video you would have already seen how the egg turned out, so hopefully that works out, because that's another great idea of something I can actually freeze and do, which would be great. And then when it came to the bagels, they're all in Ziploc bags, but I don't have any other containers. I mean, I've got containers, but I don't have room in the freezers for that. So what I've done is I've put them inside of a freezer bag as well. I could probably even put another one on just to give that air tightness in it. These types of freezer bags, I know my mum used to use them when I was little, because I don't think we had Ziploc bags back then, honestly. So she would use this for meats and stuff like that. I've discovered, because I started using these for meat and things, I've discovered it doesn't hold in the smells and stuff like that. So they're not entirely airtight, obviously. But in this case, just because it's the bagels, and apart from Isabella's, like hers have to be for her, like her Nutella ones, have to be for school sandwiches. I think they'll be okay because they're in the Ziploc bags already. But the others are just going to be toasted anyway, so they'll be fine. So I'm going to go and pop all these into the freezer now. But I think I'm going to end the vlog. That's it, guys, for today. I'm set for the next couple of weeks, which is awesome. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments if you want to know any more about like Disney stuff, and I'll it's not what the channel's about, but I will answer questions because I do get questions, obviously DMs and stuff, mainly through Instagram with that stuff. So it's good for me to sort of just talk about it and stuff. And in the end, this is why I do the This Mum at Home stuff. And in the end, you know what I mean? Not just to go to Disney, but it's for the life experiences and stuff, having more time and money for that type of stuff. So I always, you know, record our memories and share them. That's why I've got the travel vlogs here on the channel. And if you want to see those, there's a playlist link below for that. But you know, I like to share that with you guys as motivation for you guys too, because I know a lot of you guys like that. It's, even if you don't want to travel, you might have something else in your life that you want to do. So watching the videos and getting tips and things like stuff like this, where it's going to help you save time and money in the kitchen, then you'll have more time and money to do the things that you want to do. So I'm really happy to share that stuff as, you know, motivation for you guys as well, and just to put a smile on your face, because I know a lot of you guys just like watching our family trips and all that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, I'll continue to do it. So anyway, I am gonna go, but thanks so much for watching, guys. Comment below if you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow. Bye.